Hi everyone, my name is Maddie, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this mid-month TBR update because of the great reading slump of 2020. So I have finally had to accept that I am in an absolutely awful reading slump. It is currently the 15th or 16th of September when I am filming this, and I have read 3 books this month, which isn't nothing, but isn't a lot for me, and also only one of those was actually on my TBR. Another one is for a secret TBR, so it did need to be read, but if you have seen my TBR video for this month, which you can go and look at, it will be linked up there if you want to see it. But if you've seen that, you know that this is my TBR for this month. I have read 1 book. The only one of these books I've read is Star Daughter, and I haven't read any others. I have made a start on both Kingsbane and XX, but I've made practically no progress in either. I think I've read about 80 pages of this and about 30 of this, so I'm just accepting it. I am in a reading slump. There is no way that I'm going to get through all these books this month. Not a chance. I have 2 weeks left, and if I can read 4 more books or something, I'm gonna be thrilled. So in terms of reading slumps, I don't get them very often. I do read a very good amount. Like I've had a couple months this year where I've only read like 6 or 7 books, and then some where I've read 12 or 13. But even that isn't that dramatic for me, but the rate I'm reading at the moment is so bad. And it's not even so much how much I'm reading, it's more so the fact that I just don't want to read. Like I've had probably at least half the days this month where I've not picked up a book at all. And then I'll read a book in like 1 day or maybe 2 days and then not pick a book up again for another week. So it's really strange at the moment. I don't know where all my reading motivation has vanished off to, but it doesn't seem to be around anywhere. So I think one of the things that's been really not helping is I could feel myself falling into a slump at the end of last month. That's why I suddenly started reading adult romance to try and get myself out of it. And stupidly, completely my own fault, I thought the best solution was to put 5 giant fantasy books on this month's TBR. And I know when I'm struggling to pick up a book, the last thing I need is an intimidating read, but for whatever reason, that's what I did. And so that is why this video is being made, because I am scrapping that TBR. Some of these books are going straight back on it, but I'm starting again, basically. I have 2 weeks, this is gonna be a 2-week TBR. I'm gonna try and be sensible about it and just read the books I actually really want to read at the moment. I am going to be doing some more rolls for Bookoplathon. I'm actually gonna roll this time. I don't wanna set up my dartboard. Also, I feel like I'm missing out on not doing rolls. I'm probably gonna do like 3, not very many, just a short little thing. But I need to get myself out of this reading slump, and I feel like re-picking the books that I'm actually excited for without the pressure will really help. Because yes, half the books that go on this TBR are probably going to be the same ones that were already on it, plus I'm going to include the secret books, though I'd probably not tell you what they are, sorry. But I think if I can remove some of the big books from my TBR, I really, really hope that will make me feel more motivated to pick up something, because it's not as scary. Because even when I'm trying to pick up, for example, XX, which I really want to read and in a minute will be going back on the TBR, the whole time I'm reading this I'm thinking, okay, but if I finish this in 3 days and then I read this for 2 days and then read this for a day, then I might catch up on everything. So if I just have way less and I'm just reading at whatever pace I want to read, then I would feel more inclined to pick this up and read 5 pages instead of feeling like I have to read 50, I have to read 100, I have to get this done by the end of the week. And I'm just really hoping this is going to help me keep reading. If it doesn't and I've still read nothing by the end of the month, then so be it. But optimism, maybe. So as I kind of already said, I don't know why I got into this reading slump. I didn't read any particular book I really didn't enjoy. I haven't had anything that's really slowed me down. I think it's just a case of, because of all the books I really want to read, do not for a moment think I don't want to read the books I put on my TBR. I put them on because I want to read them. But I think because of my TBRs for the last 2 months now being hugely, hugely big fantasy book oriented, I've got just done with it. I feel like I need that change, and that's fine. Normally I'll read fantasy forever, but for whatever reason at the moment, apparently I'm not feeling it. And so by limiting myself to those options, I'm choosing to not read anything instead of reading what I should read, and that's just not useful at all. And yes, by putting big fantasy on my TBR, that is completely my own fault for probably pushing myself into this slump. But as I said, I'm mainly a fantasy reader. Most of my favourite books are fantasy. All of these books are ones I'm really excited for, so I couldn't really have guessed that this would have put me in a slump. And I'm putting some of them back on my TBR because I don't learn, but I am trying to keep more manageable goals in mind for these next couple of weeks to hopefully start getting my reading mojo back, and then maybe I can go back to reading more big fantasy. I keep saying this like I'm not putting the 2 biggest books back on my TBR, but we're gonna go with it. They're the two I'm most excited for. So hopefully I'll get away with it. And I do have plans, especially for the next week, to like read a dedicated like 2 hours a day or something, which I can definitely fit in and make myself do. And I think if I set myself those reading sprints, I just need to reform the habit of reading every single day instead of letting myself kind of mill around. And like, again, it doesn't matter if I don't read in a day. I've been picking up journaling again. I've been catching up on some TV shows I've got behind on. So I don't really mind, but at the same time, I feel like I need to explain to you guys why I've made this huge TBR and then I'm not reading any of it. So I'm going to quickly run through all the books that were on my TBR and explain if I am or not reading them, because I feel like that would be a good starting point. And then I'm going to talk about which ones I'm hoping to get back on. And then we're going to do just like 3 rolls, because why not? Maybe I can pull some books that I've not thought about in forever onto it that will really just spark my interest again, instead of the ones I've been looking at all month and putting off. So let's go through what I've got on here first. So starting with the biggest book, XX. I am putting this back on my TBR. I'm currently 35 pages in, but I genuinely, ooh, it matches my top. But I'm genuinely loving the first 30 pages of this. Also, I do need to read this to review it, so I don't really have a choice. This has to go back on my TBR. I have to read it this month. But I'm really excited for this one, so I'm not too worried. And with it being mixed media, it's not as difficult to dip in and out of. Like, I can really read 5 pages at a time very easily because it switches sections. So yeah, might regret it, but it is going back on. I'm hoping to read this really, really soon. Next up, the other one I've started, Kingsbane. I'm gonna read this. I want to continue this series. I'm meant to be buddy reading it, but I don't think it'll happen this month. I think this is gonna be pushed back about a month, and hopefully I'll read it just before the final book comes out, but I'm not feeling it right now. I think in the nicest way, this kind of put me in the slump. For whatever reason, the first 80, 90 pages of this in no way caught my interest. I loved Furyborn, but the beginning of this just didn't do it for me. So that, combined with falling into a slump already, made me just not pick up anything. So I'm putting it down for now. I'm in no way DNFing it. I'm not saying it's a bad book. It's just not what I want to read right now, apparently. So it's going down for a little bit. Next is Cinderella is Dead by Caleb Bayron. This is a book club book. I will be reading this, but I've heard really good things and everyone says it's a super quick read, so I'll probably read this in like a day or 2 at some point. I'm not stressed about getting this done, and this is for a live show at the beginning of October, so if I had to read it in the first few days of October, I could anyway, but this is staying on my TBR. I need to read it for a book club. I'm going to read it for the book club, and I want to, so that's a nice easy one though, so that's fine. I'm not worried about having that on my TBR at all. Next is The Falling in Love Montage by Kira Smith. I'm not reading this month. It's not appealing to me. It's not calling to me. I'm putting it down for now. I'll get to it at some point, I'm sure. Not right now. Next is The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. Again, I want to continue this series. I will be reading this at some point. That point is not right now. This is a huge, huge 800-page book. Yeah, 800 pages pretty much. I am meant to be buddy reading this, but I'll just catch up next month maybe, or whenever I'm feeling up to it, because I liked the first book, but wasn't my favourite. So the last thing I want to do is force myself through this whilst in a reading slump and end up not liking it at all. So not right now, definitely in future, not right now. Next is Wolf Song, and I don't know what to do with this. I don't know whether to put it on my TBR or not. I want to say I am putting it on my TBR because I just want to read it so badly, but there is no rush. It will make no difference in the course of my life if I read this right now or read it in 6 months. So I'm not putting it on my TBR, but if I end up having time, I wouldn't be surprised if this is one I picked up because I so want to read it. I love TJ Klune so much, but I don't see this one fitting in. Again, it's pretty chunky. There's a lot on a page. I just don't think I have time, and I'm really trying to take the pressure off as much as I can. I say I'm trying to take the pressure off, but then the last book, which I am putting back on my TBR, is Priory, which is absolutely huge. But I've been wanting to reread this for ages. It is a reread, which should make it easier, and I'm buddy reading this with my mum and with a friend, and there's someone else on Instagram who I'm reading at the same time as, so I really feel like I need to get to this one now. But this I think is gonna be like my project for next week or something, in my like 2-hour reading sprints every single day. But I really want to read this, and as I said, reread should be fine, but also I have to make at least one stupid decision. That's half the fun of this. Other than that, I do have 2 other books for a secret TBR video, which you should be seeing very soon. I should be reading those this week. One I'm partway through, another one I need to read from beginning to end. But they're super easy books, so I'm not remotely stressed. They're not fantasy, they're contemporary, they're short, they're YA. I can fly through those, which is actually probably what I need to do at the moment. So that's why I'm doing those this week. Get those out the way, get myself back in the reading mood, and then I can handle the 2 giant fantasy books that I need to get to. So those plus the 1.5 books left on my secret TBR are what I'm trying to get to this month. But I'm gonna go do 3 Bookopoly rolls and see if we can fit those in, and if not, maybe just try and pick like one extra book that's completely off the wall, really different, maybe a graphic novel or something, or a poetry book even. Just, you know, something to keep it interesting, because why not? I feel like a mix-up could really do me good right now. I have a TBR cart, which I love. I do tend to find a little bit though with the way I organise it, because I put my TBR on it as well as all the books that I haul ready for like when I'm filming a book haul, that I'm looking at those same books every single day, and so they kind of slightly lose their excitement for me just a little bit. And so sometimes picking something completely different that I've not been staring at for weeks or months is kind of what I need to feel interested in reading again. So let's do some rolls and see how this goes. Let's see. Okay, so I'm hoping you can see this. I'm not completely sure. This is my Bookopoly board, which you would have already seen if you've seen my dart attack video, complete with holes from having darts thrown through it. But yeah, I've just set it back up. I've got my little counter. Where are you? Got my little counter, which is going over there. And I guess I'm going to do the first roll. So I'm going to do 3. We'll see how far around the board I can make it, but let's give this a go. Okay, so the first roll, what's that? 8. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Foiled cover, I can make that work. Okay, so for the first roll, I got foiled cover, and for this, I am going to use Priory of the Orange Tree. You can see there, it has some gorgeous foiling on the dragon, and it's just stunning. So that's going straight in for that. I am gonna read this. I swear, if I do not read this, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm going to read this. I've been wanting to reread it for well over a year now, very nearly 2 years actually, so it's happening. Okay, roll number 2. What have we got? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. LGBT rep. Perfect. Literally perfect. Okay, so the second roll was LGBTQ plus rep, which is literally perfect. Cinderella is Dead. Female for an LGBTQ fantasy book club. This could not be more perfect, so that is going on for that. You already know I'm planning on reading this. Perfect. Okay, and the final roll is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Standalone. And the third roll was standalone. This is just going too well. XX. It's giant, but it's a standalone, so that's going on for that. This sci-fi mystery mixed media brick of a book. Perfect. Okay, so I got the 3 books I wanted to read onto the first 3 rolls, which is just not how this is meant to go. So we're gonna roll one more time so that hopefully I can get something different on. I do have my secret TBR books, which maybe would go on, but I'm gonna try and pick something outside of those, which might be setting myself up for failure because then I have quite a few books to read. But I feel like something different might really be what I need right now, so we're gonna do it anyway. Final roll. Where's that gone? 3. There we go, that's what that was. So 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That also fits, but I'm gonna choose something else for it. I'm gonna go look around my shelves and find something that I haven't thought to read in ages that I think might be 5 stars. And the final roll was really nice to me, and we got 5-star prediction. So I'm putting Camp by Elsie Rosen on my TBR. This is a YA contemporary LGBT set at a musical theatre summer camp. Literally my dream book. I'm so excited. I loved Jack of Hearts by Elsie Rosen, so I'm optimistic about this. I absolutely think it'll be a 5-star read for me. And YA contemporary is kind of exactly what I need right now, and I've been wanting to read this since I got it like 2 months ago now, so need to read this ASAP, so that's going on. So that is my TBR. You can see the 2 secret books hidden in there for the rest of the month. Is it optimistic for 2 weeks? Yes. Is there a very solid chance I'm going to come back with the wrap up in like a week and a half or 2 weeks and not have read any or many of these books? Also yes, but I need the motivation. I needed to just refresh it. I needed to redo it. Yes, some of the books are the same, but I feel lighter because I have taken this off. This is how much I am now not needing to read, and that's a lot of pages and a lot of very intense fantasy. I feel like as well, because I want this secret TBR video to go up soon. Sorry for teasing it so much, you'll literally be seeing it in like less than a week, so don't worry, you'll see it very soon. But because I've been wanting to get that up, I've been prioritizing those books and then feeling even more guilty that I wasn't reading the books I should be. But now with those kind of more officially on my TBR, and the stack being a bit more manageable. I've got 2 quick YA books, 2 chunky books, and then 2 really easy secret books. So I'm really happy with that. God, I hope I get through them all. Fingers crossed. Wish me luck. Keep me accountable. Feel free to spam me on Twitter or Bookstagram or in comments here to make sure I am reading these books. I do not mind. Please hold me accountable. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. I feel like that's a really decent TBR stack of literally all books that I'm really excited for. There's none on there that are ones that like I'm reading to fill challenges. They're all ones I really want to read and soon. So let's give this another go. Apologies for abandoning so much of my TBR, but it wasn't happening. I'm accepting the reading slump, I'm rolling with the reading slump, I'm making the most of what time we have left. But that's it for this video. I don't even know what this video is, but we'll see if it works how I intended it to. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up. Comment down below how your TBR is going. Are you getting through it? Are you having much more success than me? I really hope you are. But that's it. So subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. All my other social medias are linked down in the description as they always are if you want to connect on any other platform. But bye, and I'll see you in the next one.